You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 15th show. I am here to empower our community, providing you with opportunities and solutions when it comes to your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com to discuss anything regarding money or talk with the guests that I have in studio today. Right now, I'm having a conversation with John Walker with Walker Appraisal. John, thank you so much for joining me in studio.
Thanks for having me, Tina.
And a little bit about John. As a 12-year-old Boy Scout, John helped prep and paint his troop bus. He loved it. The experience left an incredible impression, which influenced and directed his vocational path in life. At age 16, his first body shop job was painter helper at the car dealership. By 21, he achieved journeyman status. He spent a total of 15 years in collision and repair industry as a repair technician and general manager. To this day, he is very fond of the auto body industry, but has concerns about some influences that have reduced vehicle repair quality and safety. These concerns are based on actual hands-on field inspections. John worked 11 years in the insurance industry, estimating collision damage, determining market values, and employee training. In 2001, he left the insurance industry to pursue being in business for himself as an independent expert. As an expert witness, John has been instrumental in helping a variety of clients with collision repair and market value disputes, loss of use, and diminished value. John is a genuine car guy. And I have to say, my husband actually found John. He was introduced by one of our friends, and this is a total true story. My husband's truck literally blew up. So obviously it was totaled. And I think the insurance company was going to give him $12,000 or something for value on his truck. He hired John, and I think it was less than $600 for his services. And we ended up getting, I don't know, like $22,000 or something. I mean, it was just crazy. So I thought I got to bring John in studio. I've never had a guest like this in studio. And I just thought this show is all about money, how to make money and how to save money, why, so you can have a better quality of life with your family. And John, you personally saved my family money. So I'm just really happy to have a conversation with you. Thanks for joining me again in studio.
Glad to help.
And so give a little bit, share a little bit more about your background with my listeners.
Well, I worked in the collision industry for 15 years. I was a general manager, so I learned the ins and outs of the business, especially as it pertained to insurance repair and insurance company relations. Mm-hmm. Obviously I worked for the insurance industry for several years, and that gave me an eye-opening insight of what goes on in the insurance industry, especially as it pertains to direct repair and valuing their policyholders or claimants' vehicles.
So you had a behind the scenes of exactly what happened in the insurance side of it with these claims.
Yes.
So, John, what kinds of appraisal services do you provide?
I provide appraisal services for diminished value, loss of use for a vehicle. When it's been in a shop, there's loss of use. I also do just market values like I did for your husband. Yes.
So diminished value, explain that.
As simply as I can, there's a value of a vehicle just before a collision. And then there's a value of that vehicle post-repair. And the difference between those two values is the diminished value.
Got it. So what factors qualify a vehicle for diminished value?
Well, for the individual that would own the vehicle, they cannot be at fault. It needs to be a vehicle that has some value to it, and the damage needs to qualify for diminished value. So when I do when I qualify a repair to do a case, I'll always want to look over that final bill from the body shop to determine what happened in the repair.
Okay.
And then be able to determine if it has, unavoidable residual physical damage as a result of that repair. And that is the essence of diminished value for justifying a case.
So, John, let's talk about what would disqualify a diminished value case.
Well, like I said, if it's your fault, it won't work out for you. If it's not enough damage, it could be a case with just too minor damage.
Okay.
It could be a leased vehicle, or just the value of the vehicle overall is just too low. And prior accidents plays a big role in this too.
Okay. So a lot of different factors in there. And, let's talk about the timing, because I can't remember, the exact timing with Dave, my husband's truck, but it seemed to go really, really, really quickly and pretty painless, because my husband can kind of get a little anxious when he's got a lot of work on his plate. And it seemed like this was just said and done and taken care of. So how does that process work?
Well, if you are claiming something against your own insurance company, you can invoke the appraisal clause. Now, this clause is something that's in all Washington state automobile policies for a policyholder. So when you invoke that clause, you are going to get to hire an outside independent expert to assess the value of your claim.
Okay.
And then the insurance company likewise would hire their own appraiser. And the two appraisers would reach an agreement, hopefully, on the value of the claim.
Yes. Okay. And which with our process, it seemed to be pretty painless. So range of vehicles, what range have you appraised diminished value on?
Well, I think the largest case I did was on a new Lamborghini. It was
oh my.
It was a $500,000 vehicle. He had had it just a few months and was rear-ended. And the diminished value on that was in the 6 digits.
Okay.
And he also had loss of use for the amount of time that the vehicle was in the shop for the repairs. So that was probably the largest claim. But I do a lot of everyday vehicles, new Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys, Ford F-150s.
Chevy trucks.
Absolutely. I mean, I realize that this isn't in the realm of real estate in terms of money, but certainly a vehicle can be, in most cases, your second largest investment.
And that, go ahead, John. I'm sorry for interrupting there.
I'm just saying, this affects people's money.
Yes.
When you get in an accident, it's not your fault. And let's say you've got $10,000 of diminished value and you don't do anything about it. Sooner or later, you're going to sell that vehicle.
Sure.
You're going to trade it in, or you're going to sell it privately. But most people are going to want to know the history of the vehicle, run a Carfax on it. And if the vehicle's got a history, or what we call a story to tell, it greatly reduces the value of the vehicle.
So when you've talked about, I want to back to the loss of the use of vehicle. So when I do have a lot of realtors in studio. The show is really about anything that has to do with money, but I work with a lot of realtors. So I have a lot of them visit me here and share their expertise. But for them, that's costing a lot of money if they're without a vehicle in their line of work, because they're spending all their time out there. So all of that is factored and played in when you're going through that claim for the different industries.
Yes. Some people will just want me to do a loss of use appraisal only. But typically when I do another component of appraisal like diminished value or just a valuation dispute over what a vehicle's worth on the market, there oftentimes can be loss of use. And what I find rather interesting is that the insurance industry is really good about putting you in a vehicle that's not comparable to the vehicle that you had.
Yes.
So, if they put you in a vehicle that rents for $35 a day, when the open market value of your vehicle is worth $85 a day, there's a difference there of quite a bit of money.
Yes.
And
which could actually, we're talking about realtors, it could affect their with their client in the type of vehicle that they're taking them around in.
Yeah, today, before I came to the studio, I had a gal with a brand new Toyota Sienna, 640 miles, got rear-ended, and the insurance company put her in a small, compact Kia SUV when she's got kids and family, and she needed the large capacity of a Toyota Sienna, so she's going to have some loss of use.
Yes. So, John, what should consumers understand about insurance direct repair?
Yeah, this is probably the area that I'm the most I have the most passion about to do for my clients. And, you know, if you were to just take a county like King County and look at all the body shops, say out of every 100 body shops that you see out there today, about 5 of those 100 are going to be true independent shops that do not do direct repair for the insurance industry.
Okay.
So the other ones are going to be the shops that the insurance company recommends. And those shops are going to do the work for a discount, and most of the time use parts that are not original equipment manufacturer parts on the vehicle. And most every time I do a post-repair inspection from one of these shops, there's issues with quality on the vehicle. So I would highly recommend that when you do get into an accident, yes, you may have diminished value, but it's also important to get the vehicle fixed at the right shop.
Yes, of course. So, John, what has been your experience with the repair quality as it pertains to insurance direct repair? I mean, that's just kind of, you know, what we were talking about here.
You know, I can liken it to managed healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, you've got an insurance industry as a whole that's controlling that industry. And you're not going to expect the quality, and you're not going to you cannot expect the shop to truly be looking out for your best interests when it's a direct repair shop. However, if it's a quality independent shop, their concern is to do the job correctly, and they will typically make sure that it's done correctly and that the insurance pays for those repairs.
For what those repairs should be, yep. So, John, loss of use. Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Sure. You know, there's some definite case law in the books about loss of use. And, you know, back years ago, you know, you'd pay somebody $20, $25 a day for every day they're without their vehicle. Well, that doesn't work anymore in the state of Washington. Nowadays, if you have a vehicle that has an open market use value of the $85 and they put you in a vehicle that's not comparable, then you would be entitled to the difference. Some people, when they get into a wreck and they don't want to accept a lesser vehicle, they'll just drive another vehicle that they have in their garage.
Yeah.
So they never use a rental. So they would still be entitled to that open market use value of their vehicle while it's in the shop.
Okay. All right. So if a listeners listening to the show right now and they're thinking, wow, I didn't even know this existed, and this representation and this service, what is the first thing that you need to be doing? Is it immediately when something happens, they're connecting with you and you're kind of taking over that process, or are they going through the insurance company first and getting that package put together and then bringing it to you to review and make sure that it's fair?
Most of the time when I get involved with diminished value dispute, the vehicle has already been in the shop and repaired. I like it if I can have some sort of headway on when the vehicle's going to go into a shop, so I can help a client get into a good shop.
Got it.
You know, I need a copy of the final bill from the body shop. That's always helpful. And I'm going to qualify the case, and not every case that comes my way will I accept. I mean, I'd say 50% of what comes my way ends up materializing into a case, because there's different factors that that does not qualify the case.
Sure. So, and on that note, then, is there initial fee to see if you're going to take on that case, or how does that work?
I don't charge an upfront fee to disqualify a case for somebody.
So 100% of people come in and they can talk with you, no fee at all. 50% it's going to work out.
Yeah, and then if they decide to sign up, then I charge the flat rate fee for the service that I provide.
Yeah. Well, John, I just think it's an amazing service. And obviously you can tell that you've got passion in what you do. You've got the expertise behind it to really fight for the consumer, which we really need that. And it's been proven we need that with our cars and dealing with the insurance companies. So, John, thank you again for joining me in studio. It was a pleasure having you here, and thank you again for saving my family a chunk of change.
Thank you.
This is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be here same time, same place next Saturday right here on 1150 AM KKNW.